Now, one first layer is the people. So you have the things in the people there. And then you have the network, which is very important. It cannot be standalone. It has to be integrated to a particular network. And then you need to have your computing and then cloud and then data centers and all that. And also, then you need to have the application. So these are the, so if I talk about an integrated command control center, which basically all the urban services will be migrated to a common platform, what I'm essentially looking at is, one, a network, which could be optical fiber, which can be actually some of the existing network which cities use. There are cities which want to lay an optical fiber by themselves. They feel that the kind of the services which would be migrated to it would be so enormous that they need a optical fiber cable network laid by themselves. And there are the cities which believe that there's no need to go for that at this point of time. They can actually use some of the existing network providers and then use that network and then do it. And then you need second one, which is very important, common, we call as the integrated platform, or what you call as a middleware, and where the network will be connected. And then you have the OEM component, most of the product level verticals. And I'm very, very happy that, the ED was mentioning that there needs to be not only the vertical interoperability, there needs to be a horizontal platform. That's exactly the way how these are actually conceived. So you have a middleware, and then you have the different service verticals, and their different product development will take place. And at any point of time, this middleware will be so amenable for integration of these verticals at any point of time. So let me give an example of a city like Pune. For example, the Pune went for their integrated command control centers RFP. And then finally they procured the agency, so they are system integrator. So we call it the system integrator. We don't want actually this again to be done by, so there's always a trade-off between promoting innovation and also standardizing it. If you really look at a lot of people when we had, do I have 2-3 minutes more? Or? When we actually, please. All right. When we actually had our smart city concept, a lot of people came to us and said that we needed to have a benchmark. How are you comparing the progress of the cities? You need to have the standards for the smart city. But after lots of deliberation, our kind of conclusion was that we shouldn't be having a one-size-fit-all kind of a standardization. Standardization comes, and it's very important. So what we did in the smart city proposal was that the cities to come up with an overall vision based on the citizen engagement, and also based on the SWOT analysis or relative strength of the cities. And then how to strategize it through these two components of the area-based development and the pan-city smart solution. Come up with a financing model for that. How do you leverage the 1,000 crores rupees what they are going to get as the grant fund to some X amount so that they can sustain the project. And then come up and identify the strategies through different value capture and financing mechanism to replicate that model over a period of time. And then converge existing schemes. Now the point is that in cities, if you go ideally, you have hundreds of the projects happening simultaneously with cross-cutting purposes. So there's a governance issue. So how would you converge all these projects to a larger umbrella under the smart city mission? Convergence in terms of the greater objectives, convergence in terms of the processes, convergence in terms of the resource mobilization, and convergence in terms of an institutional framework. And these are the transformational things which we are trying to achieve under the smart city mission. So it's very, very important in that particular aspect. In case of the smart water, I can go about the individual things, but at the end of the day, there has to be a greater integration. So when we are talking about, when you are developing the product, you also need to understand what exactly that particular product plays in the context of an integrated thing. Some cities basically wanted to go for a particular OEM product in a particular vertical. And then some of them wanted to go separately for the Wi-Fi. Some of them wanted to go separately for the optical fiber thing. But to optimize the project, the management, and also to do it in an integrated way, what most of the cities have gone. And again, I'm saying that this is not the Ministry of Urban Development. We had some kind of a hand-holding thing, to understand this concept. And then when we talk to people, we talk in these terms, that you need to have an integrated platform, you need to keep the people in mind, you need to have a midway, you need to have an OEM. And I personally believe that, at the verticals, you should actually allow the innovation to kind of. So there also the point is, instead of coming to, say, Ministry of Urban Development, where in most of these cases, when the SPV is an institutional framework and they have the full powers, so most of it decisions are going to be taken by the SPV. So there are pre-bid meeting, there are the consultative meeting. Go there and voice your opinion, your concerns. And I have seen this. I mean, I'm sure that Rajiv will also agree that, there were initially certain, the certain specification which was there in certain tenders. Later, some of them, they don't have it. There is also some level of, no, I would say the criticism, but the kind of the suggestion coming from the cities that some of the original RFPs which have gone out actually have the infrastructure component also. So what happens is that, you also ask for laying an optical fiber cable, or you also ask for providing a street smart pole, or to provide an IoT-based bin. Now the problem is, you need to understand why that logic is there. The problem in India is that you're not bringing the technology to a saturated level of efficiency at the infrastructure level. You are also trying to create or upgrade an infrastructure. So some of the cities like Belagavi or the Pune, they have gone and identified what are those 4 or 5 components they can actually bring in the technology and then integrate that to the platform. But they also left out something like 35 to 40 services which in future terms can be migrated. So there should be the provision of plug-in and play over a period of time. Any solution which, so that's the philosophy behind it. And I don't think that anybody questions the philosophy, and there may be 2 ways about how better this could be done. And I'm very, very happy to say that one part of the smart city transformation process has been the city level leadership, and how we could at least create the city level leadership. And you may say that, there are the project management consultant, they are also required. But we always tell the city level administrators that if you do a project management consultant whose basic purpose is to identify the project with the city and then projectivize it and then to make the DPR and also to provide the technology option to the municipal administrators, because most of them would not be understanding it. So we need some technology, agnostic technologies which are not vendor driven. So there are a lot of innovative ideas also coming in this area. There are the cities which are actually setting up innovation labs. There are cities which are actually making innovation hubs. Some of the international strategy think tank, they are also helping. I can give one example, Coimbatore, where Fraunhofer, they are setting up an innovation lab. So if the city has got any problem, so they approach the lab and they give the technology option. So there is always, it's a problem, we understand, because what happens is that any technology provider, he reaches the city and he's the first point of the contact, so he gets kind of an advantage. And that shouldn't be the case, and I'm very convinced of that. You needed to provide the city and the city administrators the technology options. And I always tell the city administrators that anybody comes to you, you just ask them, what are those best 6 options available in the world? Give us the case study. Give me those technology and give me the comparative analysis of that, and let them decide, let the city decide. So please be a stakeholder, a partner in this process, not as a, I know that every industry wants, because this business has got, and it's also, I'm also very happy that, so much of discussion is happening, and every other day, a lot of people come to us and then they say that, no, there's this problem with some of the RFPs issued by the cities and all that. It encourages us, because at some level, we also find that now these are getting grounded and a lot of projects are coming up. I would only, this is again to the industry, there's this platform which we have created, which is called the SmartNet. Is there an internet here, if I can? Yes. No, it is? Is this internet connected? No. Okay, so there's something called the SmartNet. This is solution exchange. I don't know, is anybody registered onto the that platform called SmartNet? This is smartnet.niua.org. This is a solution exchange, because we believe that the cities don't have to reinvent everything. There are a lot of projects which are being taken up by various cities. Cities can learn from each other. Cities can learn from academia. They can learn from industry. So the whole portal has been created in such a way that any municipal administrator, an engineer, or a stakeholder is going to the website. It's a portal. You can actually go and then see which sector, and then you identify you want to execute a particular project, and then it takes you to subsections. And in the subsection, it asks, for example, if it's a urban mobility, it asks about the non-motorable transport, and then you ask ask about, you want a case study, you want a technology option, you want some of the RFPs, you want some of the proposals which is already being done by or mooted by some of the cities, you want some of the research papers, some of the learning modules, and you can search and you get all that in the SmartNet. And also we have created something called product gallery in that SmartNet. One of the complaints of the industry group has been that there have been hardly any forum for them to showcase their innovative product. Now, if you have an innovative product, you register to the SmartNet, and then you send that to the SmartNet, and then it figures in the product gallery. And if you go through the product gallery, you find a lot of those innovative products which has been done by a lot of cities. And this is a common platform. It automatically pushed to the cities. And then I was told that there's a lot of products which have got the positive response from the cities based on that. I think I kind of covered, or any other. See, my appeal to all of you would be that it's quite challenging. You know, it's not that easy to transform Indian cities. The other day, we all were to US as part of USTA delegation, and then we kind of realized that, you know, the level of citizen engagement, the community participation which takes place in some of these cities, and how city actually become the pivot in the governance or the administrative decision making. In those places, the cities are, you know, respected or endeared more to the heart of the people, more than the state government or the federal government. So we need to convert the cities to those center of excellence and the model of urban governance with an inspiring leadership and a kind of an aspiring citizen involved with that process. We can talk about anything. We can talk about technology, we can talk about transforming cities, you can talk about 700 wonders in the city. At the end of the day, your city will be evaluated by the citizen on the basis of what kind of service it provides to the people. So if you are bringing technology, please keep people in mind, because there is actually the clients or the subject of your technology is to make the impactful interventions in people's life and to provide that decent quality of the life. And I end up with this one little anecdote. You know, when I asked some of the people traveling abroad that, you know, why their roads, why their infrastructure is so citizen friendly, they just gave one aspect of it. They say that we design our roads keeping in mind the wheelchair bound passenger. And if you actually design your product, if it's a technology-driven product or any other product, keeping in mind the least privileged, and you know, you never get your technology wrong. And that will be one of the most impactful solutions you can actually provide to the city transformation. And that's my concluding remarks. And then I would request all of you to be the stakeholders and the partners. They would be the teething trouble, but I'm definitely sure, you know, at the ministry level, we are definitely willing to look into these aspects and to sensitize the cities. But at the end of the day, as I explained already, the activity is being now shifted from the central and state to the city level. And you need to converse with the cities and then to you know, address to them the kind of the concerns you have. And all the best. Thank you very much.